Hello and welcome to the MFA program. My name is Mariah Bosch. I'm a third-year poet, and I'm also the student representative to the Creative Writing Committee. What that essentially means is that I sit in on faculty meetings and am the representative that brings forward student concerns, questions, or confusions. So I wanted to extend a hello and welcome to the program, but also encourage you to drop me a line anytime at my email, which is mariahbosch@mail.fresnostate.edu. You can email me with anything that you want me to bring up to faculty, but also as someone that's been through the program almost entirely now, I can help you with it as someone that's been through what you're maybe confused about or need help with. So with all that being said, welcome to the program, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Hello, I'm Venita Blackburn, professor of fiction at Fresno State, and I just want to introduce myself and give you guys a little rundown about what's going to happen this semester. We're doing some new things, clearly, but also about sort of my background and where I'm from. I'm from Compton, but I've lived in Phoenix for 15 years, and I just moved to Fresno 2 years ago to join the faculty here. And I used to have like a lot of plants and a big garden, and I do miss that. So I'm on my patio, and I'm working on this new project since my succulents are struggling, and I think they got a little bit of a disease. So I'm going to replant them. Well, not replant them. I'm going to replace the sick ones with some new ones. And I had a professor that told me, and I remember this from almost 20 years ago, she said that it's really healthy for writers to know the names of plants. I don't know what these things are called, except succulents. And I like them, but I don't know their individual scientific names. But it is really cool to know things like that. And I do teach in that way, sort of looking for not just the standard parts of fiction and narrative, but also how we can combine unusual elements of text and where we find narratives outside in the world and how we can incorporate those structures into our own writing.
Hey, MFA students, Stephen Church here, your current MFA coordinator, which means I'm your academic advisor. So if you need to reach me, the best way is through email, stchurch@csufresno.edu. I guess a little bit about myself. I grew up in Lawrence, Kansas. I attended the University of Kansas and did a BA in philosophy. And then I spent probably 3 years painting houses and fixing toilets. I was a maintenance man before I went back and did my MFA in fiction at Colorado State University. While I was there, I started reading and writing more nonfiction, reading more essays. I think that's really where I fell in love with the genre, and that's what I do now. That's what I publish, what I write, what I read, what I think about, what I talk about. The essay form is really my area of emphasis and what I care the most about and what I talk the most about. In addition to that, I founded the Normal School Literary Magazine when I was here at Fresno State in 2008, and it's been our flagship literary magazine ever since. Last year we transitioned to being an online-only magazine. And I'm really excited about the future of the magazine and what we can do with it and what our students have done with it in this past year and what's to come. I teach mostly the nonfiction workshop, nonfiction form and theory, the normal school class, which is English 286, and then often we'll teach a 250T or a 193T. I've taught things like experimental literature, sports writing, literary journalism, things like that. But I'm just super happy to welcome all of you to Fresno State, and I look forward to meeting you virtually and hopefully at some point in person. If you ever need anything, like I said, you can reach me via email at stchurch@csufresno.edu. Again, welcome to Fresno State.
Hi all, my name is Randa, Jarrar. I'm the author of 3 books, the newest of which is a memoir, which will be coming out in the spring. I teach fiction at Fresno State, and also in the spring I'll be teaching 243, Form and Theory, in the autobiographical novel. So hope you'll enroll and that we'll get to work together. Just a little bit about me. I grew up in the Middle East, and most recently I have started to pursue a lifelong dream of mine, to be a film actress and writer. I have 2 short films under my belt now, and I most recently appeared in Hulu and A24's TV show Rami. I'm in episode 5, about 13 minutes in of the 2nd season. Anyway, my interests inside of academia include working with and reading narratives by marginalized and queer women of color and gender nonconforming and non-binary people of color. Welcome to Fresno State.
Hello, I'm John Hales. Welcome to the MFA program. With Stephen Church, I teach nonfiction in the program, and also I teach American literature courses in the English department. If you're signed up for the graduate workshop in nonfiction or the graduate seminar in spirituality and American nature writing, I'll be your teacher. In terms of background, I grew up in Utah. I went to graduate school in upstate New York, and have been teaching in Fresno State, living in Fresno, and for more than 35 years. Which means that I'm much more at home in actual classrooms than I am online and on screen, as you can probably tell from my nervousness here. This summer, I've been continuing working on what is either a gigantic essay or a bunch of essays or a book that explores America's fascination with and the consequences of that fascination with AR-15s, semi-automatic military weaponry. It's based on my own experience growing up in a gun culture in Utah, and also a lot of research into what turns out to be kind of a very complicated relationship between Americans and military hardware in civilian hands. So that's what I've been working on until about a month ago, when I switched over to try to figure out and learn how to teach online, which I will, I guess I'll be doing this fall. Anyway, I look forward to meeting all of you virtually and online, and eventually I really hope to meet you in person. Again, welcome to Fresno State and our wonderful MFA program.
My name is Brynn Saito, and I'm an assistant professor here in the creative writing program at Fresno State in the English department. I've been here about 2 years. I'm going on my 3rd year. I grew up here in Fresno. I graduated from Buchanan High School many years ago, then eventually made my way to UC Berkeley, where I studied philosophy and religion, got my MA eventually at New York University in religious studies, and then eventually my MFA in poetry and creative writing at Sarah Lawrence. So I have a very sort of interdisciplinary background. I returned to California, where I started working and teaching, and then eventually made my way back to Fresno and came full circle to teach and write here at Fresno State. This fall, I'll be teaching a couple of workshop classes, one for undergraduates, one for graduate students in poetry, and I'll also be teaching a course in writing for undergraduates. In the spring, I'll be teaching eco-poetry. In the past, I've taught form and theory courses in poetry, as well as a course called Memoirs by Poets. I'm very interested in cross-genre interdisciplinary work, as well as eco-poetics and community-based poetics, and the intersection of poetry and politics, and generally how poetry can be a relevant thing to us in our daily lives. So I'm hoping that my writing classes this fall will feel relevant to you, will give you a space to reflect during this time of much upheaval and uncertainty during this global pandemic. So my classes will be a combination of you making your own art, doing your own writing, sharing that on Canvas with us, and then meeting once a week via Zoom to workshop writing, to learn new concepts from me, to just connect and see each other through Zoom. So if you have any questions or concerns about this upcoming semester, please be in touch. I think we'll all be navigating this new time together, and we'll be learning together and learning from each other and really supporting each other. So I'm definitely looking forward to meeting all of you very soon. Welcome, and I will see you on Zoom soon.
Welcome to the MFA program in Creative Writing at Fresno State. I'm Tim Skeen, and I've been a faculty member here since 2004. Your talent, as evidenced in your writing samples, is terrific. Your commitment to writing, as evidenced in your statements of purpose, is unquestionable. You remind me of when I first came to write poetry. I was in the army, stationed in West Germany, and I visited Dachau, the Nazi concentration camp, now a memorial to the victims of the Holocaust. In a very long letter to my mother, written at the time, which I came across after she passed away, I discovered then the limitations of prose when describing to her what I'd seen. For example, the shock of strolling on cinder paths, marked with signs in several languages which read, "You are now walking on the ashes of unknown thousands." I intuitively tried to convey what I'd felt through poetry, through the line rather than the sentence, through the stanza rather than the paragraph, through image rather than reason, because the experience was beyond the limitations of reason. The MFA faculty is here to help you, if not to make sense out of the world, then to make nonsense out of what would keep you from realizing your goals as a writer. Let us inspire each other.
Hi everyone, it's Dur here. I hope that you're all well and staying safe during these strange and uncertain times. I want to give a warm welcome to all of our incoming students and also say welcome back to our returning students. Even though I will miss being in the classroom with all of you, it's good to know that we're taking precautions to ensure your safety. And as we adapt to these virtual learning spaces, I'm hopeful that we'll keep finding ways to improve and to make the learning experience engaging for you. If you have specific ideas or suggestions to share with us, then please let us know. So most of you know that I teach poetry, and this coming semester I'm looking forward to teaching English 242, where the official course title is Literary Publishing and Editing, but essentially it's the class that manages the Philip Levine Prize for Poetry. And we're excited to have as our final judge for the prize, Kathy Park Hong. If you are interested in learning more about literary publishing or literary prizes, then feel free to send me an email so that I can give you more information on the class. And secondly, I am also teaching this coming semester a 250T seminar called Literary Witches, and I'm very much looking forward to that one as well. Lastly, I just want to encourage all students to get involved with our campus literary organizations. We're very lucky to have quite a few, such as HI, QA, SJLA, CISA, the Creative Writing Alumni Chapter, and a few others as well. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your summer before we get back into the swing of this semester and the school year. Take good care of yourself, and until then, bye.